Shalom, family. Good to see you here. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, I got caught up with a couple of things, and I just actually got in from dropping orders off this afternoon, and it just took me a while to get home. So, anyway, I'm here, and we're going to talk about Stephen Miller and his wife, Katie. Well, lately, activists have been showing up at their house in D.C., and they've been writing all over their sidewalk um, things that I guess they don't like, these activists saying. And instead of just getting the hose and just cleaning off, because chalk comes off real easy. And if you are a child and you did things like, you played games and you used chalk and everything, hopscotch and stuff, really after a rainfall, it's gone. That's how easy it is to get rid of chalk marks in a ground. You know, it would rain once or twice, and you would have to go out and draw it again if you wanted to play hopscotch again. So instead of doing that, the Millers are going to pack up and leave and move. Now, this is, mind you, their house is up for sale because they're upset that these activists keep showing up every day and writing all over their sidewalk. Well, this is the second move, y'all, in a short period of time. And I'm like, wow, he talks all big and tough in front of the cameras. And at the end of the day, he folds this easy because somebody wrote some crap on his sidewalk that he can get a water hose and get rid of. Well, I was looking at his background and Katie, his wife. She is Jewish, by the way. She came from a wealthy Jewish family. Her last name before she married Stephen Miller was Waldman. She was Katie Waldman. She's just dark, but she is Jewish. She's classified as Jewish. Stephen Miller is also Jewish. And you mean to tell me that's all it takes for somebody to do, for you to move, is to write some crap with chalk in front of your house? That sounds like some softy mess. Well, I was reading online also people that worked with Katie before. They said she argues a lot and she's very petty. And I said, well, then her and Stephen Miller is a match made in heaven then. And, online they're calling them America's most unlike couple. That's what they're calling them. Now, I don't know how true this is, but they said it was some things going down between Elon, Katie, and Stephen Miller. The S nature was going down between the three of them. And those videos are out there. And I don't know how true they are. I haven't done those kind of videos, but they are out there. Like they were doing more than just Doge. Let's just put it that way. A lot more than just Doge. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Right. Donald Trump's big head. All right, here we go. Okay, y'all, give me a one if you can see my screen. Yeah, Stephen Miller is full of hot air. Now, how the hell you gonna let somebody run you out of a house because they wrote some shit in chalk on your sidewalk? Most of us would get rid of that shit and keep it moving. That's what the average person would do. All right, here we go, y'all.
Has Stephen? Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
Did Stephen Miller just malfunction on live television? Or did he realize he was saying something he shouldn't? Because right when he mentioned the president having plenary authority, meaning near unlimited power, he freezes, blinks, and suddenly the feed cuts out. CNN called it a technical glitch, but come on. This man stopped mid-sentence exactly after saying the president has full control over the military inside the United States. That's not a glitch. That's a panic pause. You could literally see the moment he realized he went too far. And when they came back from commercial, the topic vanished. No follow-up, no clarification, just silence. So was it really a broadcast issue? Or did someone tell him to shut up before he said the quiet part out loud? Because if that was just a glitch, it was the most convenient glitch in live television history.
A reporter from ABC News got suspended because he talked about Jimmy the Cricket down there, who the one doing all this weird shit. Because, the man with the dead hand don't even know what the fuck he had with that dementia. I don't know if anybody's seen this son of a bitch in person. However, America got Stephen and his wife scared for their fucking life, in my opinion. Stephen is facing a lot of harassment, rightfully so, from white Americans. I think it's wonderful. Now, some people say Stephen will put this out there themselves, but I don't believe they did. Because Stephen's whole ass wife here, well, they say she fucked with Elon, so they have a lot of protesters down there in front of their house or whatever. This little motherfucker right here, somebody gonna wear his ass out one day. Well, Stephen done put their house on the market. Down there in Arlington, where they live, because they've been getting harassed so much. And I don't know what the fuck make Stephen and his ugly ass wife think that they're gonna fare any better anywhere else behind a gate or anything, because these people are on their ass every fucking day. I know this motherfucker can't cook. Look at this goddamn dining room. Who the fuck wanna sit there? Hitler? Well, anyway, everybody talking about how they put their house on the market, and you know what I'm saying, that don't nobody know where they going. It seems like no matter where Jimmy the Cricket and his whole ass wife Katie the Cricket go, people gonna find their ass and they gonna hound them. I love it. Imagine somebody want to live where the devil resides. Please. This is just the beginning, I think. I keep telling people, ain't nothing gonna change in this country until white people are affected the most. Getting madder and madder and madder. To me, it's getting gooder and gooder and gooder.
Stephen Miller lived on my dorm floor in college, and we managed to get him evicted for the following weird stuff he did. Stephen used to publish a daily enemy list. On the top of his list one day was Steve from Blue's Clues, and we asked him why he hated Steve. He said, because he has hair and he's universally loved, and that will not stand. So we all started dressing up in green rugby shirts to piss him off. Stephen was always very prudish and awkward. Whenever he found out someone was in someone else's dorm room overnight, he would sit outside in a cloak and wait for them to leave to go home. And then he would follow them around and ring a bell and scream shame. Stephen wasn't very romantically popular, but apparently his roommate said he would walk into Stephen's room and Stephen would be holding a portrait of Margaret Thatcher saying, "You're my iron lady. Please be my daddy." And he would whisper other weird stuff to her. Stephen would always complain that things were too lax. He would report people for laughing too loud or for smiling, which all made sense because one time his mom showed up to the dorm room at 1 o'clock in the morning and he ran out, screamed, and gave her a hug while he was crying because she brought him his favorite blankie, which was a 1984 blanket. When we asked Mrs. Miller why Stephen loved that blanket so much, she said, "My Stephen's afraid of the dark and nightmares, and only a totalitarian regime will give him the sleep he needs." It's a satire, but nothing would surprise me about this guy's background because he doesn't seem very happy.
There is so much drama right now between the Arlington, Virginia Neighborhood Association and Stephen Miller, who just put his house up for sale. So various neighbors have been using chalk to write around like, get out of here, Stephen Miller. And like, we know you live here and we don't like you here. And Katie Miller tweeted, the tolerant left who spent their day trying to intimidate us in the house where we have 3 young children. There were people using chalk. Katie, relax. And the neighborhood association posted this to their IG, talking about how they understand that you recently moved to our beloved community, and basically being like, get out. Everything you've done has hurt us. They were passing out these signs to people. I'm obsessed with the missing persons, and I am obsessed with the wanted poster. And all of this drama has sparked Stephen Miller to put this house up for sale. But I can't get over the literal children's handwriting sidewalk chalk that Katie Miller tweets as an assault upon their senses. Always for Charlie. We will double down. What does any of this have to do with Charlie Kirk?
White House aide Stephen Miller says he has to sell his house, and he listed it actually about 10 days ago. Why? Because according to him and his wife, Katie Miller, well, the far left radical lunatics found their house and they committed acts of terror. Exactly what were they doing? How about this? The neighborhoods around Arlington, Virginia have consistently been going to Trump administration officials' homes and writing on the sidewalks around their house. The Constitution does not agree with Stephen Miller, nor do we the people. Stephen Miller is destroying democracy. Stop that. And well, just a couple days ago, Katie Miller here, to the tolerant left who spent their day trying to intimidate us by writing with chalk on sidewalks. Let me remind you, they've also done the same thing to Russell Voigt. They will not back down. They will not cower in fear. We will double down. Actually, Katie, you did none of that. See, you and Stephen decided to run away, tuck your tails, and run away from the consequences of your own actions, which is your neighbors calling you out for the bullshit that you and your husband are perpetrating as you continue to support this administration and deport people just because of the color of their skin.
You also can't make terroristic threats. This, to me, would clearly come under the guise of terroristic threats. Would you agree?
I think not only this is terroristic threats, I think this is doxing. I think there are quite a few criminal statutes that are violated in this case. And I would think that what we saw President Trump say today in the Oval Office is we're not going to stand anymore for left-wing groups to terrorize fellow Americans. This is the example in which he is speaking about.
All right, let's talk about Stephen Miller and his wife, Katie Miller. Let's use this pic where he used to draw in his hairline. I think he was like 12 years old then. But anyways, so Stephen and Katie Miller, they have moved from their house in Arlington, Virginia, due to the Antifa terrorist organizations finding their house and doing radical things in front of it. And so what did they do? Well, at least 2 times, the Arlington Neighbors United for Humanity, aka ISIS, did some sidewalk chalk outside his home. And some of the things they said: stop the kidnapping, Stephen Miller is destroying democracy, no White House nationalism, we love immigrants, trans rights are human rights. Yeah, crazy, hateful, terrorist kind of words, as you can see. But anyways, so they got scared. They've only lived that place for like a year. They got scared. So they're probably behind a gated area now. Now, his wife, Katie Miller, posted this the day after Charlie Kirk stopped being racist. And tolerant left, who spent their day trying to intimidate us. We have 3 young children. I'm not backing down. I'm not going to cower and feel fear, whatever. Other than they put their house up for sale. So I feel like they kind of did back down in a way. But anyways, I've told people this before. Stephen Miller is like one I think that rubs a lot of us the wrong way, more than they're all horrible human beings up there, of course, and the president being the number one. But there's some people like him who are really don't have the power, but somehow have managed to have the power. And if this does not work out for them, he someday is just going to be somebody who's going to have some type of political job but not elected, and he's not going to have security, and he's going to have to go, at some point he's going to want to go out to a restaurant with his family. And you know what? There's going to be people like me who are going to make that an uncomfortable situation where he'll leave, And so I hope there's more of this uncomfortable situations that they get put in, because he's not going to have Secret Service the rest of his life. He's right now he's under this umbrella, the orange clown umbrella, but that umbrella is going to leave at some point because no one's going to elect that dude for office.
No way. So I don't think Republicans even like that dude. Someday he's got to go out in the general public, and he's gonna get a lot. He honestly should just move to like Argentina or something at some point. He probably will. Somewhere where it's he's not doesn't stand out as much. But anyways, so yeah, good job, Arlington Neighbors United for Humanity, aka ISIS.
Oh, shoot. In really unfortunate news, America's least favorite couple, the Millers, had to move again. That's right, Katie and Stephen Miller, the architect of the cruelest family separation policies and his just as complicit partner in shame wife, are selling their $3.7 million house in Arlington, Virginia. And apparently this all came after big needy protesters wrote scary, threatening messages on the public sidewalk outside of their house. You know, truly terrifying things like, DEI enriches us all, and Stephen Miller is destroying democracy. And this is all despite Katie saying on Twitter, "We will not back down. We will not cower in fear." And yet, apparently they did. $3.75 million will get you 6 bedrooms, a marble kitchen, and enough black energy that no amount of sage could cleanse away. And unfortunately for them, I don't think moving to a new zip code is going to help them find any amount of peace. But honestly, I don't think their last house really suited them anyway. I think something like this is more fitting for them. What do you guys think?
Stephen Miller is fleeing Arlington, Virginia, because people have been writing things, mean things, hurtful things on the sidewalk outside his home with children's sidewalk chalk. What exactly has been happening? Well, beginning in September 2025, activists began leaving chalk messages on the sidewalk in front of the Miller home. A local group, Arlington Neighbors United for Humanity, claimed responsibility for the messages, which included such terrible things as "Stop the kidnapping," "Stephen Miller is destroying democracy," and "Hate has no home in Arlington." What was the reaction from the Millers? Well, in September, Katie Miller posted a video of herself hosing the sidewalk chalk off of the sidewalk and stated her family would not back down. Back down from like what, your Yahtzee agenda? I don't know. Back down from she said, quote, "tolerant left." That's interesting. That's an interesting quote. She also posted a tribute to far-right activist CK, who was, unalived, as we all know, not too long ago. So I guess they are indeed backing down because of chalk. So, that's how tough they are, is that chalk will scare them off. Frog costumes will scare them off. So, I don't know if maybe their next neighborhood will be free of sidewalk chalk. One can only hope that the terrors of sidewalk chalk messaging won't follow them everywhere they go. I don't know if anybody knows this, but like it's in certain magic traditions you can use chalk to like draw sigils to repel evil. So it might be something like that. But hopefully they'll feel safe to hate in their next neighborhood.
Stephen Miller is selling his nearly 6,000 square foot Mount Arlington home after activists repeatedly wrote protest messages in chalk nearby. The custom house is listed at $375 million. It has 6 bedrooms, 6.5 baths, and sold new in for $2.875 million. Messages reading "Stephen Miller is destroying democracy" and "trans rights are human rights" were washed away, and neighbors say the family moved out in October. An activist group said members were expressing concerns, while the Millers posted a defiant response on social media. Follow for more updates.
So if that's all it took to run Stephen Miller off, so the new neighborhood they moved to, if y'all don't want them there, start drawing on the sidewalk. You could probably get rid of them again. Yeah. Everybody in the neighborhood start putting graffiti all over their sidewalk in their new neighborhood. They probably will run from that too. Wow. Unbelievable. So, oh, Mr. Tough Talk, he can't even hold up against some chalk on a sidewalk, y'all. I mean, he talking all that tough mess in front of a mic, and some people show up every day and write on the sidewalk. That's enough to send him running. Yeah, that sounds like some cowardly mess there, Stephen Miller and Katie. It sounds like some cowardly mess. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude because I got 3 more live streams coming up. And I hope you can come for all of them because they're going to be really good. And you're going to have a wonderful time listening to a lot of what's coming up. So, one of my live streams, I have responses from EBT recipients speaking out against not getting their SNAP benefits. I got Donald Trump demanding $230 million from the DOJ because Mar-a-Lago was raided, and he said the raid was unlawful, which is BS. Donald Trump got raided because he took classified documents he was never supposed to remove from the White House. And they said they tried and tried and tried to get him to send those documents back. He refused to do it. That's why he got raided. Why should somebody give him $230 million of taxpayer money over something he did? But this is what he's trying to do. He claims it was unlawful for them to raid Mar-a-Lago. And I remember they found the files in storage. They said he had some of the files in his bathroom. And he had them everywhere. Now, I don't know why he had them in his bathroom, that big place, and he had some stored in his ballroom. So he took a lot of classified information he was never supposed to take. So he think you should pay him $230 million because the FBI had to go down there and get the files because he would not send them back. I mean, unbelievable, y'all. The nerve of this crook. And y'all, they are deporting the Cubans. The Cubans are being heavily rounded up and deported. So I have that coming up. So I hope that you can be here for my upcoming live streams. All right. So C-Stan, thank you so much for your super sticker and support for my channel. I deeply appreciate it. So y'all, I'm going to conclude. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you later. Shalom, family.